was a little girl, my mother told me to eat all my peas because there were starving children in Africa. I told her she could send them my peas. I didn't know where Africa was, and I didn't really understand what it meant to be hungry. 40 years later, through my work with Orenda, I had the opportunity to take my own 5 sons with me to Africa to work on a project with a group building an orphanage. They saw what hunger was, and because they saw it firsthand, they were inspired to do what fundraisers call giving till it hurts. We're all hardwired to give back. Now, we can't all go to Africa, but the message is that there's an incredible opportunity to create inspiration by engaging people in contribution. In 1994, Paul Hawkins, he's co-founder of the garden retailer Smith & Hawkins, he wrote a book. It was a little controversial. It's called The Ecology of Commerce. And in that book, he talks about the quality of every living system on the planet in decline. The pollution of our air and water, the extinction of our animals, the destruction of our forests, the deterioration of human health, the stress of the modern workplace, and this huge rift that's growing between the rich and the poor. And he goes on to talk about a trend that is transforming business in a very profound and interesting way, and that the businesses of the future will be very unrecognizable. The companies in the future will be all about restoring our world. They'll be about rebuilding our communities, about restoring our ecosystems, about preserving our environment, about improving human health, and about creating workplaces that really create widespread prosperity. There are some great companies doing this. You know some of them. People like Oprah Winfrey and her Angel Network. There's some other ones that I call quiet giants, like Andrea Jung, the CEO of Avon, and what that company is doing to eradicate breast cancer. Or Susan Knobler, who created the Gift of Sight program for LensCrafters, and how they've restored sight for over 2 million people in the developing world. And then we've got people like John Anderson and Jim and Kathy Coover, who have adopted child help to attempt to prevent and treat child abuse. Quiet giants. There's a profoundly important shift going on in business. People are spending much more time at work than they are at home with their families. Corporations have a different and more important role in people's lives than ever before. There's a huge global skill shortage, and the winners in business are going to have to find new ways to attract and retain talent. When it comes to finding the best talent, the offering or the package is key. That hasn't changed, but it used to be about salary and benefits. Now it's about purpose, values, and trust. The old paradigm is that reward fuels performance. The new paradigm is that purpose fuels performance. Howard Schultz, the CEO of Starbucks, said it best. If people relate to the company they work for, if they tie themselves emotionally to it and buy into its dreams, they will pour their heart into making it better. And the numbers support this new paradigm. A Deloitte & Touche study found that 74% of Americans would prefer to work for a company that supports charitable causes. And that number goes up to over 80% for employed students over the age of 18. 87% of people believe it's important for companies to offer opportunities for employees to volunteer. Those numbers are way up over a decade ago. In 2001, I was hired as Vice President of Sales for USANA Health Sciences, a publicly traded manufacturer and distributor of nutritional products. Sales had been flat for years. Over the next 3 years, the sales more than doubled, and the stock was trading up 3,500%. What had changed? It wasn't the products, or the people, or the marketing, or even the marketplace. What changed was the corporate culture. The most significant contributing factor to that culture change was the integration of a strategic philanthropy program. We adopted orphanages in the developing world and got our children's nutritional supplement into the hands of those kids. We got to know them. We watched their health improve. They became part of us, and they drove our purpose. What is strategic corporate philanthropy, first of all? In my mind, it's basically partnering a company with a charity that allows the company to extend its mission beyond its balance sheet and gives an opportunity for all constituents, for the management of the company, the employees of the company, the shareholders of the company, the customers even, to participate in that partnership. USANA went from a place of very low morale, poor communication, little, if any, team spirit. A place, you know, that place where people go to work because they have a job. Most of them would rather not be there. It went from that to a company with soul. And as I look back at that now, there were a lot of contributing factors to that. But the single most significant contributing factor to the change in the culture at USANA was an extraordinary philanthropy program. So when you ask the question this morning, how do you get employees more engaged? That's really what we're here to talk about this afternoon. As I have been talking to people, I realize there is a collective consciousness out there. It's growing about this. Business leaders want to give back. Companies want to give back. They just don't necessarily know how to do it. But my experience with USANA indicated to me very clearly that a company can grow by giving back. And there is a Sanskrit word for that, and that word is karma. And I call this corporate karma. Corporate philanthropy has traditionally been about check writing and PR. There's a tremendous opportunity for companies to redefine their giving and build a values-based corporate culture, an emotional profit center that creates an inspirational workplace. When employees participate full out, rolling up their sleeves and getting involved, they breathe new life into a company's vision and mission. The psychic rewards are measurable and reflected on the balance sheet. This is not just good and right business. Strategic corporate philanthropy is smart business.